Hey, how you guys doing? I recently bumped into this article. I know it's an old article, and most of you probably bump into it, and probably majority of you have probably read through this article. But anyway, I figured why not put it in there on my video so that way we can get a little bit more of clarification that's coming from the man, the CEO, the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer. This was from Metro Co. UK website. They did an interview this year in June during a Los Angeles E3 show that Xbox had on the stage. And one of the guys here that was doing an interview asked him some very interesting questions. And I figured this video would be an excellent rehash of this interview so we can all go through it and read it and get better understanding on how Phil Spencer feels about the Scorpio and the Xbox One S. And there is actually a quote here that's being put out on the front page of this article that says the Xbox boss Phil Spencer interview quote said, "I'm not trying to sell everybody on Scorpio." So I'm going to go through this interview a little bit, read through it, and you guys will have my thoughts on it. And then you guys as well can leave some comments down below and let me know how you feel about this whole interview. Okay? So let's go through it. Okay, so I skipped through some of the I like to call it foreplay questions in the beginning, where they kind of the interviewer throws a softball to Phil Spencer, and they go back and forth for like 5 minutes. I skipped to the very important questions that the interviewer had asked here. So the first question that interviewer asked him, the very serious question was, well, I'll try to be brief on this because God knows I'm not technical. So these are really just yes or no questions to clarify things for me. So my understanding is there's not going to be any Scorpio exclusive games? Question mark. And then Phil Spencer says, that's right. And the interviewer says, and if you don't own a 4K TV, you're not really going to see any benefit. And then here, Phil Spencer says, yeah, we specific. Hold on, let me see if I can pronounce this. Yeah, we specified, that's what he's trying to say, Scorpio to be a great console. The output of Scorpio is meant to be plugged into a 4K TV, and we wanted to make sure the internal frame buffer on the Scorpio can support 4K. So that's our target, 4K streaming and the power. So really, that's the focus of us building the console that is built a great 4K console. As people are moving to 4K TVs, I think this is a great point to Xbox One S, if you want to call it a 1K console. It obviously supports 4K video streamings, but from a game standpoint, if you're looking to play a 4K video games in 4K, Scorpio is what you should go buy. Alright, so what he basically is saying is that yes, Scorpio will play native 4K games, but it won't have any exclusive Scorpio games, which means it's kind of similar to PlayStation 4 Pro, if you think about it, honestly. Does PlayStation 4 Pro has any exclusive games? No. Whatever games PlayStation 4 has, you'll be able to play it both on PlayStation 4 and then Pro. The only difference is on the Pro version, you'll be playing at the high resolution and a little bit better graphics architecture. It's the same thing with the Scorpio. Yes, you'll be able to play the same exact game on your original Xbox One and your Xbox One S. The only difference is Scorpio will utilize that game in a true 4K native. And so, you know what it is? Scorpio is kind of like a PC version of the Xbox. Honestly, it's kind of like that. Really. I mean, let's just call it what it is. To me, Scorpio, it's not a new flagship console for Xbox. What it is basically, it's an upgrade. Let's just call it an upgrade. It's what it is. It's an upgrade because you'll be able to play exactly the same games that you're playing on your Xbox One and your Xbox One S. The only difference is that you are gonna be enjoying that specific game. Let's say Halo 6 when it comes out, or Forza 7 when it comes out. You'll be able to enjoy that Forza 7 in a much better clarity and graphics and native 4K resolution than opposed to you playing it on your Xbox One original 2013 version or Xbox One S. Alright, so that's kind of clarified. It is what it is. It's an upgrade. Come on, guys. Scorpio, it's an upgrade. And I know this might be hard for some of you to swallow and to understand, but Scorpio and Pro, they're both an upgrades. And that's exactly what it means. What did they upgrade? 6 teraflops. But the games are all going to be the same, pretty much. There won't be any exclusive games for Scorpio. Just like there won't be any exclusive games for PlayStation 4 Pro. So it is kind of going into the consoles are going... Okay, I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for saying this, but I have to say it. I don't give a damn. I have to call it the way it is. I think that consoles are going into a PC mode, like a personal computer mode, because it feels like every 2-3 years we'll be seeing a new upgrade. I think Xbox will be just that one brand, kind of like Galaxy Note, Note 7, Note 8, or Galaxy. It's going to turn into like a cell phone, like a smartphone. Like every 3 years, every 4 years, there's going to be a new smartphone, like a new upgraded console version coming out. And I think that's the way it's headed, honestly. Kind of like smartphones, really. So it's pretty much, it's going to be upgrades, new upgrades. Every 3 years, we'll be seeing. All right, so let's go ahead and let's continue. Now, here's an interesting question that this guy asked. He said, when I think of what's needed to justify buying a whole new console, I feel it needs to be more than just a change in resolution. It needs to be something my mom or any other disinterested party will immediately notice and realize it's a big step up. And then Phil Spencer says that's right. And then he says, and I am not sure this necessarily sounds like that. And then Phil Spencer goes on, this is very interesting right here. Phil Spencer says, and that's why we are going to have both in the market at the same time. It is for exactly that reason. So people ask me, is this a generational change for a console? And I say this is part of the Xbox One family. If you like the way games look today, the price point of an Xbox One today or an Xbox One S this summer, it's actually a great console for you. Because many people say, you've announced Xbox One S and you announced Project Scorpio. Why would anyone buy an Xbox One S? And honestly, the answer is pretty obvious. And then this is interesting. What he just said here, it's very interesting. Let's go through this one more time. What Phil Spencer says here, it's very interesting. And I say that this part of the Xbox One family. You see, when he says Xbox One family, so he's already hinting that Xbox One is here to stay for a long, long time. Kind of like a Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy brand. Samsung Galaxy S2, S3, S5, S7. Kind of like, Note 5, Note 6, Note 7. Kind of like iPhone, iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, it's kind of like that. It's almost like a smartphone. He's like kind of hinting that, hey man, this is a brand now. The Xbox One is the last console. There won't be Xbox 2 or Xbox whatever. The only thing you're gonna see, what he's pretty much saying, is the upgrades. They're gonna beef the upgrades with more memory RAM, with more GPU. It's gonna turn into like smartphones, just like I said. See what he says? And I say this is the part of the Xbox One family. If you like the way games look today, the price point of an Xbox One today, or an Xbox One S this summer, it's actually a great console for you. So he's basically saying, okay, you don't necessarily have to buy a Project Scorpio, just like you necessarily have to buy a Note 7. You can buy a Note 5, right? But you're going to be losing some of the features that they're inside. So it's kind of the same shit in a way, honestly. It's like the consoles have turned into a smartphones. Let's just call it what it is, guys. And that's what I'm getting from Phil Spencer here. And then he says right here, why would anyone buy an Xbox One S? And honestly, the answer is pretty obvious. And the interviewer says, because you don't have a 4K TV. And he says, that's right. It's price and the capability that you have. And even if you had a 4K TV, but you really just want to watch Netflix in 4K, and you're fine with the way games look now, the Xbox One is a great value for $300. The lowest priced console on the market, it's got 4K UHD Blu-ray drive. Project Scorpio for you core enthusiasts who wants 4K gaming. You see what he's saying here? He's basically saying to you guys that he's giving you all these choices. Kind of like smartphones, like Samsung and Apple. They're giving you choices. You don't have to buy a Note 7. You don't have to buy the new iPhone S, whatever, not iPhone, whatever, 7. iPhone 7, right? Whatever it's called. You can go with iPhone 6. You can go with the iPhone 5 or iPhone 4. Or you can go with the Galaxy Note 5 or Note 4. But you're going to be missing out, like he says here, okay? And I'm not trying, this is what he's, look, he says, he believes if you want Netflix in 4K, and you're fine with the way games look now, then the Xbox One is great value at $300. And then, then he talks about the 4K UHD Blu-ray, so you get that experience as well. And then he says Project Scorpio is for you core enthusiasts who wants 4K gaming. And I'm not trying to sell everybody on Scorpio. We're going to run the program with both consoles in market, and I think there's an audience for both of them. Okay, so here's my conclusion, guys. I'm sure you guys can read. I don't have to read it for you. The conclusion is this. And let me be the first one to say this. Maybe I'm the first one to say this, but the consoles are not the consoles that we used to know. Okay, I'm going to make a speech now. The consoles that we used to know, or at least the consoles that I'm familiar when I was growing up, they're not what they used to be. We're not going to see consoles like Dreamcast, Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1. We're not going to see Sega Saturn. We're not going to see the consoles like they used to be, like back in the days. We're not going to see that. I think consoles, in some respect, I would say, they have transitioned themselves. They have transformed themselves into a similar aspect of smartphones. Every 2-3 years, there's going to be a new console coming out, new upgrade, PlayStation 4.5 or PlayStation 5.2 or whatever you want to call it. And I think what we're going to see, it's upgrades. Every 3 years, there'll be a new upgrade console. But here's the thing, you won't necessarily have to buy it. You'll still be able to play your games, but you won't have the experience as opposed to someone who has Scorpio. So you see what they're doing? So when he says we're not leaving anybody behind, what he meant by that is it's a one platform, just like iPhone is one platform. No matter which iPhone you have, the better iPhone version you have, the better experience you will have. Same thing with the Galaxies. Depending on which model of the Galaxy you have, but still you'll experience the same user interface. You'll experience the same marketplace. So let's just call it the way it is, guys. The traditional consoles that we used to know, at least that I used to know growing up in my generation, I think they're dead. I think those type of consoles are dead. What we have now, it's honestly a contract deal. It's what you're getting. You're getting something similar as the smartphones. Xbox has become this one brand. This one brand, kind of like the phones have become like this one brand. Like Note 7 has become this one model brand. Or Samsung Galaxy Edge has become like this one brand. They're just going to keep adding numbers to it. Same thing with the Xbox One. So that's why they have this thing called Play Anywhere. No one gets left behind, because instead of them making a new console with new exclusives, and this way they don't have to do that. This way they can just have one grid with different models and different upgrades. So he's basically saying is that consoles have turned into a smartphones. Every 2 years there's going to be a new model, or every 4 years there's going to be a new model. Same thing with PlayStation. And I think that the same thing will be true for Nintendo as well. So I think that's what I'm getting out of this whole interview. And this is a very cool article. I think you guys should read it and go through it. And what I'm getting here from Phil Spencer is exactly what I just said. I think consoles have died in terms of consoles that we used to know. They don't exist. They don't exist anymore. Those type of consoles that I grew up with, they don't exist. They're dead. They don't exist anymore. What we have now is a type of smartphones, gaming entertainment systems. They're part of the brand. Just like this Galaxy Note 7 I'm holding, it's a part of the brand. You know, just like that S7 Edge you're holding, it's a part of the brand. You know, it does exactly, it plays all the games there on the market. The only difference is Note 7 has a little bit more extra features as opposed to, let's say, Note 5 or Note 4. But you can still play the same games on it. So I think we're headed in that direction. Hopefully, I don't know, this is how I feel. And I think I'm 100% right on this. Because that's what I'm getting from all of this. From what Phil Spencer said and what Sony is doing and what Nintendo is doing. It looks like it's going that way. Well, anyway, you guys let me know what you think. You guys leave me a comment. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about this.